Hey friends, and welcome to our channel. If you're new here, we are Jane and Kyle and we are travel junkies. If you love traveling the world just like us, consider subscribing to follow our jet lag journey. This is the finale of our 7-day cruise to Alaska with Holland America's Koningsdam. I'll link all the previous episodes if you've missed it in the description down below.
It is day 5. We are approaching Ketchikan, Alaska. Just got back from breakfast, got a few minutes, and then we'll head out to a massage. Ship ran a nice $70 off promotion to try to get the massage slots filled. And then we are headed into Ketchikan and doing a little excursion that we will talk more about later. See you then.
We had a quick breakfast at Lido Market before headed to the spa for a massage. A lot of times mid-cruise, passengers will be offered a discount on massage packages, so we could have missed that. Kyle and I both opted for the deep tissue massage, which was so painful. Of course, just like the in-room products, all the products used in the spa are also Elemis, and you can purchase items to take home after your massage as well.
How was the massage?
I was in a lot of pain, but I think it's what's needed, she said.
Alright, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. Let me quickly show you the Holland America Line Navigator app where we booked our massage, but it actually does so much more. On this app, you can see all the activities happening each day. You can bookmark activities, which then you will receive notifications closer to that time. If you all remember, in the previous episode, we mentioned that there is so much going on at all times on this cruise. So this is really helpful to help just organize your plan throughout the entire trip. You can also see the schedule ahead a couple days, so you can plan activities and other things to do around your excursions. You have access to every floor's deck plan, so you know where to go for which activity and really just help orient yourself. This was so useful for the first couple of days. Like mentioned, we booked our massage visit through this app, but you can also book excursions ahead, other spa services, or even specialty dining reservation through this app as well. You can also message other members in your party through this app, and in general, this app is what'll connect you to the internet. So have this app ready and download it on day 1. I'd be remiss not to mention that if you like to experience this for yourself, I've linked a promo code in the description where you can receive $50 onboard credit on your next Holland America cruise. Okay, now let's get back to the more exciting excursions that we booked for Ketchikan. Ketchikan is a pretty small town, and while there are still things to explore, there are certainly not as many as bigger cities like Juneau. So we decided to book the Jeep off-roading and canoeing combo excursion. We first hopped on a bus ride. We said goodbye temporarily to the dock and headed for our Jeep tour. It was definitely a rainy day, so our rain jackets really came in handy. I'll link mine specifically down below in the description box. We also bought ponchos, so I'll link that as well if you're curious. It rains so much in Alaska that we highly recommend packing one just to be sure. After a short bus ride, we arrived at the excursion parking lot. We signed a few waivers and was assigned to a Jeep. For some strange reason, something about the red Jeep was just calling to us. So we requested it because look at her. Even in front of the trash can, she's glowing.
Here we go.
Our tour guide led the way in the front, and one by one, we headed towards our first destination. Our guide opened the gate to this gated area, and I kid you not, the moment we got into this private area, things started to get so bumpy, and we were officially off-roading. Oh my gosh, this is not for the faint of heart. Even watching this when I'm editing is just crazy. Let's just say I'm very grateful my dad drove because I did not trust myself with off-roading right next to a cliff.
Sport out here, so it's pretty cool. During the winter time, it'll freeze over. People come like ice skating and they'll go across or go like rock climbing right here too. You can go swimming in it, but mosquitoes love it.
We hopped back on and headed to our next spot. Alright, well, learning moment here. Next time, bring a gimbal because all our footage came out very bumpy, which maybe that's the point. We stopped and parked at this lookout point, and it was stunning. The fog definitely made things very moody and mysterious. It also started to drizzle, but honestly, that didn't stop us from climbing the Jeep and getting some cool pictures. A little blooper for you to enjoy. Let's guess, how many people does it take to get me off this Jeep? Let's just say Kyle is a lot sportier than I am. Sadly, we parted ways with our Jeep and headed to the second part of this excursion, the canoeing. Watch me practice. So at this point, the rain was pretty heavy. I'd like to think that we were the trendsetters because no one wanted to look like a fool with these oversized raincoats until we started wearing it. So all the excursion attendees wore matching raincoats, and it honestly looked like we were a legitimate team. They lined us up, got us in the boat, and we rowed off in the lake. Is it rowed off or canoed off into the lake? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Okay, I fully acknowledge the fact that we were filming, which means we weren't helping the team. So, whoops, sorry friends. But it was just such a calm, peaceful vibe on the lake. There was literally no sound other than our paddling and the sound of water. But it was quite the upper body workout, I'm not gonna lie. Arrived at this little setup at the start of a beautiful nature trail. All of us got off and there was a different excursion group having some snacks, so we went for the nature trail first. Even though the trail was pretty short, we got to learn a ton. Our group guide taught us a lot about different plant species, vegetation, specifically the mushrooms that grew in this forest. It was really cool.
That's pretty cool. But I want to talk about our mushrooms. You can actually bounce a little and everything. They're pretty strong. They used to actually knock them off the trees, keep in mind. Stand on these things, so pretty impressive. They used to knock them off and carve out the middle.
We ended up at this little snack area. This is where I was introduced to the salmon spread. I know it doesn't look appetizing, but it is so good. Even watching it back, my mouth is watering. Ugh, I miss it. After that snack break, we headed back. Please enjoy my dad's artsy shot of Kyle's shot. We ended up racing this group in front of us, and it was so hilarious because they put all the kids on one side of the boat. So the adults were paddling super hard on one side and the kids were not on the other side. So the boat started turning in the lake and they could not get themselves back to shore. At this point, it was raining pretty hard, but honestly, as we were reflecting after the excursion, my entire family thought the rain and the fog really brought a more immersive experience. For me, the whole scene was really giving Lord of the Rings, so I really appreciated the vibe. We still had some time after finishing the excursion, so we decided to explore the town. There's actually a lot of history in these Alaskan towns. In Ketchikan, we read a lot about the brothels that are in these historical buildings. Of course, a lot of these buildings have remodeled and have become souvenir stores, so it's really fun to check them out. Also, look at how cute. My dad's holding umbrella for my mom so she can get some pictures and videos. Goals. The rain got even worse over time, so we decided to head back to the boat. We were all so exhausted, so we had a chill dinner at Lido Market and relaxed the rest of the evening.
Today it's so windy that they actually closed the promenade. First time I've seen that. Little rocky. We'll see how bad it gets.
On the sidewalk, who's on the morning?
We had a slow evening watching the dueling piano, sipping on some cocktails, and enjoying the party. Alright, well, I'm so sad to report that this is our last day on the cruise. And we spent the entire day just cruising back to Vancouver. Everyone stayed on board, but we used this opportunity to enjoy some onboard amenities one last time. Let's start with breakfast at Lido Market. And then we stopped at the Dutch Cafe. Surprisingly, we've not stopped here in the last few days. And fun fact, the staff here, I believe, all are from the Netherlands and can all speak Dutch, hence the name of the cafe. The decor here is beautiful. All the colors are iconic to the Netherlands. Another fun fact is that all the floors on this ship, except for the promenade and maybe the first floor, but the rest are all famous musicians and composers. Since since we don't have an excursion or much physical activity that day, after breakfast, we stayed busy and headed to the gym to burn off some calories. The gym is well equipped with lots of dumbbells, machines, and towels. Even though there was a good number of people working out, it didn't feel cramped, and we were able to get to the stations we wanted pretty easily. And it was really lovely to work out with a panoramic view of Alaska. After our workout, we got cleaned up and headed to maybe my favorite activity on the cruise, Deal or No Deal. I'm not sure if my viewers know Deal or No Deal, but I watched the show so much when I was younger because it was always on TV in the evenings. I swear, it's thrilling television, but now brought to life, so I was on the edge of my seat.
He's gonna offer you $171. All right, so how it works is the next round you'll have the option for 4. You can either shut that and keep playing, or you can press the button and take your $171.
It's too soon.
Too soon. No deal. We're going to make a no deal.
We spent the afternoon relaxing by the pool, watching some pickleball, and when we got too cold outside, we came back for a competitive game of Sorry. Since it was our last night, we booked our dinner reservation at Tamarind. It's not an included meal normally, but we did pay extra for our meal package, which came with all the drinks we mentioned previously and a specialty dining meal. Tamarind is a restaurant on the upper floor specialized in innovative sushi recipes and Asian cuisine. This meal was incredible, by far our favorite. Special call out to the protein skewers, the dumpling appetizers, and even the sides in the main meal was incredibly delicious. I'm so embarrassed, but that evening, Kyle and I ended up at the casino again. We also did a raffle that we did not win. Watching this whole series back, we were at the casino so many nights. Maybe we need an intervention. Overall, this was such an incredible cruise. I was never really a cruise person, but for Alaska, this is really worth it. Many of the cities are hard to get to, and every city we visited was stunning in its own way. This cruise was so worth it for us, and if you'd like to experience this for yourself, I've linked a promo code in the description where you can receive $50 onboard credit for your next Holland America cruise. Thank you so much for coming along on this series. We have so many more videos planned, so subscribe to follow along.